Seasons greetings everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Patience. In today's video I'll be sharing with you guys how I made this beautiful tiered gathered shirt dress with collar. Before we get started, kindly click the subscribe button. If you have done that, let's get into it. I'll be using the Stripes Crepe Fabric and it is 3.5 yards. So I'll be using the vertical design of the fabric. I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 4. I'm cutting out the front and the back piece, and I've marked my shoulder line. Right on the shoulder line, I'll mark half of my shoulder width, which is 8 inches. I'll be adding ½ inch for sewing allowance, that is 8.5 inches. On the 8.5 inches, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slant, and I'll mark the width of the neck. I'll be using 3 inches for the width and 3 inches for the depth, that is for the front piece, and for the back piece I'll be using 1 inch for the depth. Like I said, my fabric is folded into 4, so I'm cutting out the front and the back piece. I'll slant the shoulder, and from the 1 inch I'll mark my chest line, which is 8 inches. That's also the armhole line. In order to get a straight line, I will measure from the shoulder line to this point, that is 9 inches. I'll bring down the shoulder measurement on the chest line and connect the points. After doing that, I'll mark the midpoint of this line, which is 4 inches. For the back armhole, I'll go in by ½ inch, and for the front armhole, I'll go in by 3/4 inch. After doing that, I'll mark quarter of my bust circumference, which is 10.5 inches. I'll add ½ inch for ease because it's a free dress, and 1 inch for side seam, and then I'll curve the arm side, both the front and the back arm side. I'll mark my shoulder to bust point and shoulder to half length, which is 16 inches, and I'll add ½ inch, that is 16.5 inches. I'll extend the line. I'll bring down the 12 inches on the bust line, and I'll mark quarter of my waist circumference plus ½ inch for ease and 1 inch for side seam. That is it. I'll be cutting it out this way, and I'll be attaching the placket later. So now I'll cut it out. I'll cut out the back neckline, adding ½ inch on the shoulder for sewing allowance, and I'll cut out the back arm side, and I'll remove the back piece and cut out the front neckline and the front arm side. So this is the front piece. I'll divide the midpoint because it's a shirt dress, and this is the back piece. Now I'll cut out the midpoint of the front piece. So this is what it looks like. I'll be attaching a placket later after attaching the ruffles. Now to cut out my ruffles, I'm going to measure what I have here. This is 10.5 inches on each pieces of the front piece. So to cut out my ruffle, I'm going to divide this by either 2 times 2 or times 2.5 inches. Depends on how full you want it to come out. So I'll be cutting out times 2.5 inches on both pieces. I've done that. I cut out 2 for both the front pieces. Now 10.5 times 2.5, that is 26.25. So I have 26.5 inches here, which is okay. These are the front pieces, and the length is, I have 13 inches here. I'll be using ½ inch to join the upper part and ½ inch to join the lower part. I'll be left with 12 inches. I'll be making a ruffle to fit in the waist. To do that, I'll be using the longest stitch on my sewing machine to make double gather stitch on ½ inch on both pieces. Also on the back piece, what I have here is 21 inches. I'm going to times the 21 inches by 2.5 inches for the back piece. I've done that, and the length is also 13 inches. So I'll also be making the gathers to fit in the waist. So I'll also make double gather stitch on 1/2 inch. I've done that. Now I'll pick both ends of the thread and make my gathers. I will ensure it is up to the waist measurement, which is 21 inches. After doing that, I am going to place the right sides this way, and I'll make sure the gathers are even, also by 1/2 inch. I did the same thing on the front pieces. I ensure the waist are aligned. Now I'll place the right sides this way and sew by 1/2 inch. I have done that. This is the back piece and this is how it came out. So I am going to measure what I have here on the, remember this is the first layer of the gathers. I'm going to be cutting out the second layer. So I'll times this by 2 or 2.5 inches. So these are the front pieces. I've attached the gathers. Remember the lower part is 26.5 inches. I'm going to times that by 2 inches or 2.5 inches, depends on how full you want it. And I'll cut out the second gathers. So I've gone ahead to cut that out. This is for the back piece. The length is 14.5 inches. I'll be using 1/2 inch to join to the upper part and I'll be using 1 inch to hem. And I'll be left with 13 inches. So the total gown length is going to be 42 inches. I've made my gathered stitch. As you can see, I had to join it here to have a very long fabric. So I've made my gathered stitch. Now I'll make my gathers. And I'll ensure it is up to the first layer. Also on the front piece, I've gone ahead to cut that out. And I've also made my gathered stitch. Now I'll make my gathers. I've done that on both pieces and I ensure it is up to the same measurement. Now I'll be placing the right sides this way, okay, and I'll align the side seam and I'll sew by 1/2 inch. As you can see, it is aligned. I'll do the same thing on the other side. That is for the front piece. On the back piece, I've also made my gathers. Okay, now I am going to attach it to the second layer of the back piece. I'll be placing the right sides this way, aligning the side seam, and I will sew round by 1/2 inch. I've done that. These are the front pieces. I've attached the second layer of ruffle. This is how beautiful it came out. And this is the back piece. I'm going to keep this back piece aside. I'll be working on the front piece. I'll be attaching the placket. I've gone ahead to cut out the placket and I added an interfacing, as you can see. So the width is 2 inches. I folded 1/2 inch on both sides and fold it again. Now I'll be attaching it on the wrong side of the dress. Okay, I'll place it on the 1/2 inch, pin it down. So I'll be sewing on 1/2 inch on the wrong side. After doing that, I'll turn it over to the right side and make a top stitch. I'll do the same thing on the other piece. I've done that. As you can see how neat it came out on the wrong side. I did the same thing on the other piece. So this is how it came out. So I'm going to overlap it this way. I'll be making my buttonhole and attaching my buttons to make sure all the layers are aligned. As you can see, all the gathered areas are aligned. So I'll be placing the back piece right now, the right side, and I am going to join the shoulders and then sew the 1 inch for side seam. I've done that. I've joined the shoulder and the side seam, and this is how beautiful it came out. So the next thing I am going to do is to hem. I used a pin to hold the placket. I am going to take that out and I'll measure round the neck to cut out my collar and my collar stand. After measuring, I'll notch the midpoint. So guys, I have a detailed video on how to cut a collar and a collar stand and how to attach it to a shirt dress. If you don't know how to do that, I'll put the link on the description box. Check that out. I've gone ahead to cut out the sleeve. So I cut out 14 inches. I've used 2 inches to hem and I've also joined the side seam. So I'm left with 12.5 inches here. I'll be using 1/2 inch to attach the sleeve to the dress. I've done that. I've attached the sleeve and I've also attached my collar and collar stand. This is how beautiful it came out, and I've also attached my button. Okay, so the space of the buttons are 2.5 inches. So this is how beautiful it came out, and we have come to the end of this tutorial. If this was helpful, kindly give this video a thumbs up and also click on the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to be updated when I upload a new video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.